They said the call came in at 2:17 a.m., a single ring. No voice, just breathing, slow, controlled, and then silence. By the time police traced the signal, the line was dead. What they didn't know then was that this call would unravel a lie powerful people had protected for years. Because this story isn't just about a disappearance. It's about an underdog no one listened to. A man dismissed, mocked, and crushed under the weight of influence he was never meant to challenge. And one detail, so small it was ignored, that refuses to be explained. His name was Evan Cole, 32 years old, a night shift, parking attendant in a wealthy, coastal city where secrets live behind tinted glass and gated driveways. Evan was invisible by design. People handed him keys without looking at his face. They assumed he was uneducated, replaceable, harmless. That assumption would cost them everything. Across the street from Evan's parking booth stood the Calderon, building home to judges, developers, and one man who ruled them all from the shadows. Victor Hale, philanthropist, donor, kingmaker, the kind of man whose smile opened doors and whose phone calls closed cases. And Evan had seen something he was never supposed to see. It started on a rain-soaked Thursday night. Security cameras were down, scheduled maintenance. Only Evan was there when a black SUV rolled in without headlights. He recognized the driver immediately. Victor Hale. Hale didn't usually park himself. He didn't wait. But that night he did. And he was angry. Evan remembered the way Hale's hands shook as he passed over the keys. The way he said, "You didn't see me," like it was an order, not a request. And the way the trunk moved. Evan told no one. Not because he didn't care, but because he knew exactly who Victor Hale was. 2 days later, a woman named Lena Morris vanished. Investigative journalist, known for digging into corruption cases tied directly to Hale's foundations. Her apartment was found unlocked. Her laptop gone. No signs of struggle. The city mourned quietly. The police assured the public there was no foul play. Evan tried to forget the trunk. But then came the second call. 2:17 a.m. The same breathing. This time Evan recognized it. It was Victor Hale. Evan didn't know how he knew, he just did. The breathing stopped, and a single sentence cut through the line. "You should have stayed invisible." The next morning, Evan went to the police. They laughed. A parking attendant accusing the city's most untouchable man? They wrote it off as stress. One officer suggested Evan take a few days off. Another warned him, off the record, that pushing this could ruin his life. And that's when the mistreatment began. Evan's hours were cut. Noise complaints appeared on his record. His landlord suddenly wanted him out. Everywhere Evan turned, doors closed. Victor Hale never spoke to him again. He didn't need to. Because power doesn't yell, it erases. But here's the irony. The more Evan was pushed down, the more carefully he started paying attention. He began recording audio on his phone during night shifts, writing down license plates, tracking patterns, and one night, months after Lena vanished, he noticed something no one else had. Victor Hale's SUV returned. Same driver, different plates. Evan snapped a photo. That plate belonged to a vehicle reported destroyed in a warehouse fire 2 years earlier. An insurance payout had already been issued. The car officially did not exist. That was the detail no one could explain. Evan sent the photo anonymously to a small podcast called Into the Deep. No name, no story, just the image and a note. "This car shouldn't be here." The episode aired quietly at first. Then it exploded. Internet sleuths dug in. Insurance records surfaced. The warehouse fire was ruled accidental. Investigated by a firm owned by Hale's cousin. Suddenly, Lena Morris's old articles resurfaced. Connections were drawn. Pressure mounted. Victor Hale went on television, calm as ever, dismissing the claims as conspiracy. He called the parking attendant rumor an attack on truth. That same night, Evan disappeared. His booth was found empty. Phone left behind. Audio recorder missing. For a moment, it looked like Hale had won. Until police reviewed Evan's final audio upload, scheduled automatically, in case something happened to him. It was time-stamped 2:17 a.m. The file contained breathing, then footsteps, then a voice, clearer than anyone expected. Victor Hale's voice. "You really thought anyone would believe you?" That recording changed everything. Hale was arrested within 48 hours, charged with obstruction, evidence tampering, and later linked directly to Lena Morris's murder through new testimony. The city exhaled. Justice, it seemed, had been served. But Evan Cole was still missing. Weeks later, a hiker found a jacket near the cliffs north of the city. Evan's jacket. Inside the pocket, one last note. The truth doesn't need power. It needs patience. The case was closed as a presumed death. But here's the part no one can explain. 3 months after Victor Hale was sentenced, another call came in. 2:17 a.m., same breathing, same silence. And this time, the call was traced. It came from a payphone less than a mile from Evan Cole's old parking booth. If Evan was dead, who made the call? And why does Victor Hale still refuse to answer one question? What was really in the trunk that night? The call from the payphone didn't just reopen the case. It cracked it wide open. Detectives tried to keep it quiet, but leaks spread fast. A call traced to, with eye to and walking distance of Evan. Cole's old booth meant only one thing. Either Evan was alive, or someone wanted the world to believe he was. And both possibilities terrified the people who thought this story was over. The police officially denied reopening the investigation, but behind closed doors, a quiet task force was formed. No press, no statements, just 4. Investigators and one rule: do not notify Victor Hale, because there was something else they hadn't released to the public. The payphone call wasn't just breathing. At the very end of the recording, buried beneath static, was a sound technician later identified as a metal latch being pulled open. A trunk latch. That sound shouldn't have existed. Victor Hale was already convicted. Lena Morris's case was closed. Evan Cole was presumed dead. There was no reason for that sound to appear now, unless the truth was still moving. The task force went back to the night everything began. Rain-soaked streets, cameras down, one parking attendant everyone underestimated. They pulled archived traffic footage that had been dismissed years earlier because of corruption. This time, enhanced with newer software, one frame stood out: the black SUV exiting the garage. The trunk wasn't fully closed. It bounced once as the car hit the streetlight shadow. Inside that shadow was the detail no one had wanted to see: a hand. Not reaching out, not struggling. Just resting there, motionless, calm, as if whoever was inside already knew something. The rest of the city didn't. The task force tracked warehouse records connected to Hale's insurance scam. Beneath the burned building was an unauthorized, sublevel never disclosed to fire. Investigators, a place designed not for storage, but for waiting, soundproofed, reinforced, temporary. They found evidence of recent use: food packaging, medical restraints, a portable phone charger, and scratched into the concrete wall, 4 words written again and again until the metal tool had snapped. "He saw you first." That sentence changed the meaning of everything. Evan Cole hadn't just been a witness. He had been leverage. The investigators realized Hale never intended to kill Evan that night. He intended to scare him into silence. The trunk wasn't carrying a body. It was carrying a message. Someone Hale wanted Evan to see. Alive, restrained, and unmistakably human. Lena Morris. She hadn't been killed immediately. She had been used. Used to control Evan. Used to test how far fear could travel without leaving fingerprints. But Evan didn't break the way Hale expected. Instead of running, he prepared. Every plate number, every recording, every delayed upload. Evan knew the system would only believe him if Hale believed. Evan was gone. That's why the jacket was planted. That's why the booth was left empty. That's why the final audio file wasn't a goodbye. It was bait. The task force followed financial trails Hale thought were erased. Shell companies. Offshore accounts. One transaction stood out: monthly. Payments to an unregistered medical transport service. The routes were short, local, circular, designed to look like mistakes. They traced the last payment to a private care facility that officially didn't exist. Inside, they found a patient listed under a false name: nonverbal, malnourished, alive. Lena Morris. She had survived by pretending. She was already broken, and when detectives asked who kept her alive, she wrote one name on a notepad with a shaking hand: Evan. He had used Hale's own tactics against him: fear, silence, invisibility. Evan never wanted to be famous. He wanted the truth to last, so he stayed in the shadows. While the system congratulated itself for solving the case too early, Victor Hale was transferred back into custody the same night. This time he didn't smile. because he finally understood the irony. The man he erased had learned how to disappear better than anyone else in the room. Before questioning began, Hale made one request. He wanted to know if Evan Cole was alive. The detective didn't answer. He just slid a phone across the table. 2:17 a.m. The call connected. Breathing filled the room. Then a voice Hale recognized immediately. "You should have stayed powerful," Evan said calmly. The line went dead. Officially, Evan Cole has never been found. Unofficially, the case files now list him as location unknown, status protected. Lena Morris is recovering, preparing to publish the story she was almost buried with. And Victor Hale, he spends every night staring at a concrete wall, listening for a sound that never comes. A trunk latch, footsteps, breathing. Because the detail no one can explain isn't what was in the trunk. It's how the man who saw everything learned to vanish without a trace.